If you're living somewhere expensive right now, say anywhere in BC, the GTA, Calgary, even Edmonton, and you're thinking about what a move to Central Alberta could actually look like, this video is for you. Because most people think this decision is about one thing. How much more house can I get for less money? This is not what determines whether this works or not. Because I've seen two types of people make this exact move to Central Alberta. The first group moves here, buys a big home, and within a year, they are less stressed, more settled, and wondering, why the heck didn't we do this sooner? The second group does the exact same move on paper. Same market, same prices, same opportunity. And 12 months later, they are second guessing everything. So what's the difference? I'm Pat Garritty, and I've been selling in this market for 25 years. And I've seen exactly who this works for and who it does not. Our team has done over $1 billion in real estate sales here. So we've seen both sides of this. In this video, I'm going to break down what your money actually gets you here, what life really feels like after you arrive, and the one decision that determines whether this becomes the best move you ever make or one you might regret. Because on paper, this move looks obvious, but in real life, it's a little more nuanced than that, isn't it? Anyways, let's get into it. Let's start with the number that gets everyone's attention. Yep, you can sell a home anywhere in BC or the GTA for over $1 million and buy a fully updated detached home in Central Alberta for a fraction of that price. That part is real. But here's what most people get wrong. The price difference is not the win. The win is what you do with that difference. Let me give you a real example of what your money actually gets you here right now. A 1,300 square foot bungalow, fully completed basement, attached double garage in a good Red Deer neighborhood, you're looking at, say, $525,000 to $600,000. And in some of the outlying communities around Red Deer, Lacombe, Black Falls, etc., you can even do better than that sometimes. Compare that to what the same money buys you, say, in Vancouver or Toronto right now. That conversation does not take long. Now, let me give you a real example of what happens when people actually make this move. I had a personal referral from a close friend of mine. A couple from the Lower Mainland, retiring, ready for a different pace of life. They sold in that $1.2 million range. Came to Central Alberta, bought a beautiful detached home, right? Beautiful lot, large lot, right where they wanted, fully updated for $700,000. On paper, that is already a win. But here's where it actually changed their life. They walked away with $500,000 still in their bank account. And instead of rolling that into a bigger mortgage or a bigger lifestyle, they kept it. They reduced their money monthly. They bought back their time. And that shows up in ways people do not expect. One partner working less, more time with family, less anxiety, right? Definitely less anxiety tied to income, actually enjoying where they live. And I have the opportunity to talk to them, for the most part regularly, and every single time they're happy, no hesitation, no regrets, just happy. But here's the other side of that story, and this matters. I've also seen people come in here from, say, BC or Ontario. They sell high and immediately stretch again. Bigger house, bigger lifestyle, similar financial pressure. And a year later, it feels like nothing ever changes. Same market, same opportunity, completely different outcome. This move is not about cheaper real estate. It's about whether you reset your financial life or just relocate your stress. And once you understand that, you start looking at that decision quite differently. But money is only one part of it, because what actually surprises people most when they arrive here is not what they expected. There is a moment almost everyone I have worked with goes through after they make this move. It usually happens a few months in, and it sounds something like this. I did not expect it to feel this different. Not better in one specific way, just different, in a way that is hard to explain until you're in it. Let me show you what they mean. It's a Saturday morning. You're not running around. You're not sitting in traffic. You're not planning your day around how long it takes to get somewhere. Your kids are in the yard. You have space, real space, not a postage stamp backyard where you're 5 feet from your neighbor. Actually, you have room to live. And then there's time. That is the one people underestimate most, right? In Calgary or Edmonton, 45 minutes each way is considered a normal commute. Vancouver, Toronto, it could be even worse. Red Deer, you can get across the city in 15, 20 minutes. Silver Lake, you can get anywhere before your coffee even gets cold. That's a true story. I live it every day. That is not just convenience. That is hours of your life back every single week. Compounded over a year, that is weeks of life you got back. And then there is the community. This is the part that surprises people the most, and it is the hardest to communicate in a video. The couple I told you about earlier, they moved here partly because they had family in Alberta. That connection made it even easier to make that decision. But what they did not expect was how quickly they felt at home beyond that, how tight the community actually is, and how fast people became neighbors in the real sense of the word. People know their neighbors here. Local businesses matter. There's a sense of connection that a lot of people who move from the bigger parts of Canada describe as something they forgot even existed. And for a lot of those families, there is also a shift in values and a pace that matters. Less noise, less pressure, more grounded. I'm not going to get political, but I will say it comes up consistently. People want something different, and Central Alberta has the opportunity to deliver that. Now, for people worried about feeling cut off, Red Deer is 90 minutes from Calgary, 90 minutes from Edmonton. Both cities have international airports. If your family's still in BC or Ontario, you can be on a plane the same day. And if you want the city weekend, restaurants, concerts, professional sports, it's a 90-minute drive. Heck, I've had to order season tickets for quite a few years. It's easy. What you give up is the daily grind of living inside that. The traffic, the noise, the cost, the pace that quietly exhausts people until it stops. Now, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds great, but what about work? That's a question I get more than any other, and I want to give you the honest answer. This is where people get it wrong. They fall in love with the lifestyle before they solve for income. And that is when regret starts to creep in. So let me be direct with you. Central Alberta is not a major urban employment center. Red Deer is a city of about 100,000 people. There is real economy here. Healthcare, trades, energy, education, agriculture, professional services. But if your career requires a head office environment or a niche industry concentrated in a major city, you need to think carefully before you move. Here is what has changed the conversation for a lot of people. But guess what? It's remote work. If your income is no longer tied to location, and for a lot of people, now it's not, this move becomes extremely powerful. Income. You dramatically reduce your cost of living and you gain everything I just described. For dual income households where one partner is remote and one needs local work, the question becomes, what does the local market look like for your field? Healthcare, trades, education, they're all strong. Other sectors, sometimes they're a little bit limited. Do not guess. Research it specifically for your situation. And here is the advice I give every family seriously considering this move. Come here first, spend the weekend, drive the neighborhoods, sit in a coffee shop, talk to people who maybe have made the move from other areas of Canada. The clarity you get in 2 days is better than 2 months of online research, because the people I see struggling after this move almost always are the ones who made the decision from distance, who optimized for a familiar, for maybe working from a spreadsheet instead of actually experiencing what they were moving towards. Remember, knowledge is your superpower. Go get some of that ground. And if you want straight conversation about whether this makes sense for you, not a sales pitch, just the truth, just call or text me directly, 587-815-5152. I will tell you exactly what I would tell my own family. This move is not right for everyone. If you need a major city's energy every day, the density, the pace, the options, the anonymity, Central Alberta probably won't scratch that itch. Edmonton and Calgary are 90 minutes away for the city weekends, but day-to-day life here is quieter, more settled. That's the point for most people who come, but it's worth plainly saying. If your career is generally tied to the specific urban market and remote work is not an option, you need to run that math before you make this commitment. And if you are not ready to build a new routine, a new network, a new version of your daily life, the first year will take real adjustment. That's honesty. The people I see thrive after this move share a few things. Okay? They choose this intentionally. They are not escaping something. They are moving towards something. More space, more control, more stability, more financial breathing room, a pace of life they actually want. They're financially motivated and they understand what equity plays, into their future, not just the purchase price, but a full reset. I've often said the reason that pulls them here is family, community, a connection that makes a new place feel like landing, not just a departure. Like a couple in my story, a family in Alberta was part of what made the decision real for them. If it sounds like you, Central Alberta may be worth a serious look. And here's what I want to leave you with. Let me come back to this one more time. Sold in the Lower Mainland for around 1.2, bought a beautiful home in Central Alberta for $700,000, $500,000 in their bank, closer to family, out of the chaos, time back, community they did not expect to find so fast. And every time I talk to them, they're happy. Not adjusting, not tolerating, happy. And that's not luck. That's a decision they made, a frame they chose, gain over loss, future over familiar. Because here's the truth about this move. The financial case is real. The lifestyle shift is real. But neither of those things is exactly what makes it work. What makes it work is going in with clear eyes, knowing what you're gaining, knowing what the trade-offs are, and choosing this, not settling for it. The people who do that, almost universally, they say the same thing. We should have done it sooner. And if you're seriously thinking about this move, come visit, drive the streets, have a coffee, talk to someone who made it. The decision gets a lot clearer when you stop reading about it and start experiencing it. And if you want to talk to someone who knows this market inside and out and will give you the honest picture, we are one call away. 587-815-5152. Ask for Pat. I answer my own phone. In the next video, we're going to do a deep on the most affordable towns near Red Deer, what each community actually feels like, where the real value is, and which one might be right fit for you and your family. Subscribe now so you don't miss it. Remember, I'm Pat Garritty with the Trilliant Real Estate Group.